Welcome children to this session of Standard 9 subject Geography, lesson number 6, Properties of Seawater. The major properties of seawater are: first, temperature; second, salinity; third, density. And this is what we are going to see in detail, all the three properties of seawater. Children, before actually starting the lesson, let's recall. Let's recall means how much general idea you know about the water, as it is the lesson related to the properties of seawater. Which is the largest water storage, children? The largest water storage is oceans. And why is seawater salty? Because salt in the ocean comes from the rocks on land. Rivers carry dissolved salts to the ocean. Water evaporates from the ocean to fall again as rain and to feed the rivers. But the salts remains in the ocean. That's how we get seawater salty. In earlier cases, we have studied tides, ocean currents with reference to the ocean. Here in this lesson, we will be studying the major properties of the seawater. But before dealing with that, again we need to know one major thing about the properties of the seawater is the temperature. Now, when we talk about the temperature, what is the difference between the temperature of the land and the sea? When we talk about the temperature difference between the land and the sea, children, during the daytime, land is hotter than the sea. Whereas during the night time, land is cooler than the sea. So this shows the difference between the temperature of the land and the sea. But we also want to know what would be the difference in the temperature of the seawater from the equatorial region to the polar region. And that in detail we will be seeing right now. Children, just now we have answered some recall questions, and the largest water storage body is the ocean we have answered. See, this is the image, first image is of the ocean. Second image we have answered that salty seawater. As you can see, the mountains of the salt which are being collected on the seaside here. And the third image is of the tides, high tides and low tides, what we say. So certain tides which comes, waves which comes. That is the third image. And fourth, we were talking about the ocean currents. As you can see, the warm currents and the cold currents. So these are the images reflecting the different ideas or what the questions just now we have answered in the recall part, children. Here is the image of the globe on the screen, children. With the help of this globe, let us understand what are the different heat zones on the earth. See, 0 degrees Celsius, which is referred to as equator on the globe, you can see. To the north of the equator is Tropic of Cancer, and to the south is the Tropic of Capricorn. And we have these zones where the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn's lies is called as temperate zone, which receive most of the sun rays. In this region, temperature is more, whereas rainfall is very less. It receives very less amount of rainfall. If we move away from the equator in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, the level of the heat gets reduced and temperature also gets reduced. So the temperature of the seawater near the equator is more, whereas as we move away from the equator, the temperature of the seawater gets cool. Say about Arctic and Antarctic circles, where in 90 degrees north and south pole I am talking about, children, the temperature goes in the minus degrees. Temperature is the major property of the seawater. The surface temperature of the seawater is not uniform everywhere. The average temperature in the equatorial area is around 25 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the seawater changes rapidly with the depth at equatorial areas. What you can see in the image is that, children, where it is shown the equatorial areas is with the yellowish and reddish color, which is level it will be very hot, very high, but after the certain level, that is after the 2000 meters depth, the equatorial areas also, the water is going to be less in temperature after the level of 2000 meters depth. So on the surface temperature of the equatorial area of the seawater will be around 25 degrees Celsius. So we come to know it is highest comparative to the temperate and the torrid zone which is there, and the temperate and frigid zone which is there. So the temperature of the seawater changes rapidly with the depth at the equatorial areas. Means what? On the upper surface it will be high, but as we go deeper and deeper, in the depth the temperature is going to become less. It will be uniform 4 degrees Celsius everywhere. So that's what it shows, that upper surface of the equatorial area is 25 degrees Celsius, which is reflecting in the down image also, where summer and winter it has been shown as per the graph, where it is showing that it is going to be higher on the upper surface, where it is going to be lower after certain level after 2000 meters. The intensity of the sun rays decreases with the increasing depth. Temperature decreases up to 2000 meter depth. After 2000 meter, the temperature of the seawater is uniform everywhere. It is around 4 degrees Celsius everywhere from the equatorial regions to the polar areas. See children, here is a shaded graph which has been shown to you. See, as we move from the equatorial areas and when you come to the 2000 meter depth, after that red color which is shown, there is no change. It is uniform everywhere. Let it be near the poles or let it be near the equatorial areas, it won't be changing. After the depth of the 2000 meter, what different color shades you can see is the change till the 2000 meter depth, like blue color, light green color, then yellow color, and red color shows the uniformity. Same is in the second image what you can see. See, upper yellow color shows the surface part of the seawater, and then light green part shows that there is a slight change in the surface part of the seawater. And after the 200 meters which is shown here and 1000 meter, then you can see the green color which is like from the poles areas is shown, from the tropical areas, then temperate areas and the polar areas. So in all areas you will find that this green color is constant, which is not changing. So this part we can assume as 4 degrees Celsius, which is from the equatorial areas to the polar areas is going to be uniform, which won't change. Whereas till here light blue color or the yellow color which is shown in this image shows that the temperature will change up to decrease or increase, whatever it is, depending upon the sun rays, will be till 2000 meters only. After that it is going to be 4 degrees Celsius. Let it be any heat zone or let it be any part of the earth. Children, here are the images of first two images are of the sea, under the sea. How the sun rays reaches. When you see the upper layer, it will be bright sunshiny rays which shine, and we cannot see with the glaze of those sun rays, we cannot see everything very clear. But when you go deep inside the water, the sun rays become deeper, the lighter, and because of that you can see the clear image inside. And if you go more deeper, you will find the sun rays light falling inside the sea depth become more dim. Lower two images are of the ice layers, the glaciers. You can see a thick layer of ice is there in one of the image, but when you move aside of that thick layer, if you dig down, you will find that after a certain level, the ice layer is formed, and after that it becomes water. As I told you, up to the 2000 meter depth only the ice layer will be formed. Below that it will be 4 degrees Celsius uniform everywhere, and it will be in the water form, no more in the ice form. Children, the next topic what we are going to see in the properties of the temperature is salinity, the next property. Why is the taste of the seawater salty? We are here to answer some few questions, then we will come to the actual topic of the salinity. So the taste of the seawater is salty. We have to give reason for that. Salt in the oceans come from the rocks on land. Rivers carry dissolved salts to the ocean. Water evaporates from the ocean to fall again as rain and to feed the rivers. but the salt remains in the ocean, and that is the reason we get seawater salty. Second question is, what are the reasons for the high salinity in the ocean? The reason for this question is high rate of evaporation and low supply of fresh water leads to the high salinity in the ocean, as rain is only the source for the ocean to get the fresh water, children. And then comes next question, what is the use of the salts in the ocean to us? So the salts in the ocean is very useful to us. That is, first thing is, the salt is used in the food we eat. Next, it is also used for making various chemicals and medicines. Then we have salt is also used to preserve things for longer periods. It is also used in ice factories. You know, children, when we extract the fish from the sea water or any water, we preserve those fish with the help of the salt. If you put salt in that, it won't give more smell or it won't get destroyed. Then for pickle also, your mom and grannies must be making pickle at home. So how does the pickles stay for so many days in a good condition? One thing is that either if you make a sweet pickle or a sour pickle or a salty pickle, so there is a pinch of salt which is added in that, which acts as a preservative there. So salt is a very good preservator, okay, and it is used in chemicals and medicines also, it has been told just now. So chemicals and medicine means when you do the practicals or experiments in the lab, there sodium chloride, sodium nitrate, these are all nothing but the form of the salt, children. When you will practically deal with it in your hand, you will come to know all are the different forms of salt, but we can't use them in the daily needs of our food as a food. That's a chemical form of the salt. And some of the salts are also being used of this chemical form for making medicines also, children. And the common salt which we eat in our food, without which the food does not taste very good to us. So how can we obtain the salt from the ocean water? Now how to obtain salt from the ocean water is, seawater contain large amount of common salt and the salts of the other metals dissolve in it. Near the seashore, the seawater is collected in a shallow pits. Shallow pits means salt pans. You can see in the image, children, here it is shown. These are all nothing but the salt pans, where the square shaped salt pans have been made and allowed to evaporate in the sunshine. In few days, the water evaporates, leaving behind the salt. The salt obtained is collected and transported to the factories, where it is purified, packed for consumption. And that's how we obtain salts from the ocean water. I hope so all the questions of salinity regarding here is clear to you. Now we will be seeing, children, the geographical explanation of it. Salt is used in food we eat. Just now I told you, without that the food won't be tasty for us. We won't find any taste only in the food if the salt is not there. Salt is also used for making various chemicals and medicines. That's what I explained to you just now. Salt is also used to preserve things for the longer periods. That also we have seen. Salt is also used in the ice factories so that the ice should not get melted easily. So that is the reason salt is also used in the ice factory. We obtain salt from the salt pans. As you can see in the image, all the square shapes what have been given where the water is there, and on the corner of that square shapes whatever has been made, the path or the channels, on there you can see white colored mountain type made, that is salt, and the square shapes are called as, children, salt pans. The buoyancy of the seawater increases because of the salinity. What is the meaning of buoyancy, children? The power to float or rise the fluid. So water does not get easily floated because it is very hard, because the amount of salt contained in it is more. So this is useful for water transport. You can easily carry the water. It won't get flown away very easily. Okay. But if the salinity is more, then bearable limits, the life in the water gets destroyed. So if the amount is more salty, fish or other aquatic animals cannot survive, children. They may die because of this more amount of salt. So that salinity of the sea, if it is more, Life is not possible in that. I hope so everybody got this salinity topic now.